Welcome to the Quantum Vision Works Armored Command Unit Simulator, or QVACUS.
Supreme Commander 2 is a real-time strategy developed by Gas Powered Games and frontman Chris Taylor. It is, of course, the sequel to the ever-popular Supreme Commander.
Oh man! That explosion just took out half of my army! I need assistance fast!
I'm on my way. The command center is powered by an enormous Generation 9 reactor that's pumping out way more power than is needed for the base itself. The entire place will go nuclear if it blows.
Want to take me with it?
Probably.
Well, that sounds reassuring. Supreme Commander 2 is a fun and fast-paced RTS, but both the single-player and multiplayer have their own flaws which hold the game back from being a true RTS sensation. In the SUBCOM 2 single-player, you have to complete set mission objectives in order to progress. Each mission teaches you a little more than the last, but about halfway through the missions, the SP started feeling a bit bland, and I was ready to move on to multiplayer.
How many more UEF soldiers need to die for your little crusade?
Just one.
What do you think you're doing here?
Relieving you of your command.
So just like that, I'm supposed to hand over the keys to the castle.
Did I give you the impression I was asking?
I found that I wasn't at all invested in the SP story, which may have been in part due to the voice acting. With the exception of the tutorial, some voices sounded wishy-washy and others overdone. A fair number of cutscenes and all of the voiceovers in each mission were more likely to make me laugh or cringe than take the story seriously. SUBCOM 2's single player preps you for the multiplayer, and it's not a part of the game that I'd get repeated value from. Supreme Commander 2 is really about the multiplayer and skirmish modes. This is a two-player skirmish, and in the middle of the screen you can see my Armored Command Unit, aka ACU. The ACU is your avatar and also doubles as a construction unit, and he's also a pretty powerful weapon. The ACU is upgradable through research, and in most cases, if your ACU is destroyed, you've probably failed the mission. Engineers are multi-purpose, and while they're not as quick and powerful as the ACU, they can build all structures, they can travel sea and land, repair structures and units, as well as help speed up your unit build queues. Unlike in your standard RTS games, in SUBCOM 2, creating new buildings or units does not unlock upgrades or more powerful units. Instead, you use a research tree to unlock new capabilities and to improve your army. Research points are gained by your ACU, and they can be gained at a quicker pace by creating new research structures. The research tree adds a whole new dynamic to SUBCOM 2. After you've accumulated some points, you have to decide where to spend them. If you want to research experimentals, then you'll have to put points in that specific tree. At the same time, you have to anticipate what your enemy may or may not do. For example, if your opponent's going to go all nuke shit on you, then you're going to need to unlock your anti-nuke. It's nice to just slap points into increased damage, increased health, and so on, but you really have to give it some thought. Do you beef up your basic units, or do you go for the big guns? One of the highlights of Supreme Commander 2 is the experimentals. Experimentals are very large and powerful units. An army of experimentals can tear up a base in seconds flat, but you don't have to worry about getting rushed with them since they come with an increased cost to build and a fair number of research points required. With that said, some fans may be disappointed that experimentals have been toned down since the first SUBCOM. Many of the gameplay mechanics have changed from SUBCOM to SUBCOM 2, and many of the community complaints to this regard are valid. SUBCOM 2 on its own delivers a fun RTS experience. If you're going to rate the game as a sequel, then the score would drop a couple of points. Although Supreme Commander 2's graphics aren't at the cutting front of technology, they are forgivable due to all of the attention to detail and snazzy effects. Structures and squad units are all very detailed, and even the build effects are enjoyable to watch. When you add everything together, you pretty much forget that the game only requires DX9. Supreme Commander 2's multiplayer should get lasting love from casual RTS players, but in order to draw in and keep SUBCOM 1 fans and hardcore RTS players, the multiplayer features will have to be beefed up. A 1v1 ranking system is on the way, and that's a start, but the game could also use some matchmaking features and enhanced browser capabilities. To Despite a few obvious flaws, Supreme Commander 2 is a lot of fun, and we're going to give it a final score of 3.5 out of 5.